John, we get a lot of questions.
Right.
And out of these questions, the one that appears the most is, why do lenders ask so many questions?
Exactly.
Why are you asking so many questions? Why are you bugging our buyers?
I know. We just like to torture people, really.
Yeah,
it comes down to that.
I figured.
And if you want to send me any referrals to torture, please do that.
Yeah.
I'm very good at it.
Yeah, nice.
This is a topic I wanted to bring up now that we start the new year of 2017 because, we have an influx of applications, and
Up 3%.
We want to make sure that we can ensure a clean process to get you to close on your home, and that you're not leaving anything out. And the reason why lenders ask for so much paperwork is not only because of agency guidelines. Every lender you're going to speak with to get a mortgage has to adhere to whatever agency they decide to put your loan program, what you qualify for, like VA, Veteran Affairs, FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac on the conventional side, USDA. They all have their guidelines. The other reason is because of mortgage fraud. We have to rule out any type of fraud, whether it's wire fraud, any type of money laundering, terrorism, you name it. Since the crash, a lot of people are forgetting them. In 2008, we had a major crash, or they were in college. They didn't even know what was happening, or maybe their parents went through some sort of foreclosure and they know, but it's still, you're going to be supplying a lot of paperwork in the way of driver's license. All this stuff most people know, W-2s, pay stubs, federal tax returns. Everything else, like bank statements for the last 2 months, everybody knows the drill there, but why do we ask for it? It's not only to calculate your income, it's also to match your current living situation. Every one of these documents has your current address, your mailing address. Well, it's supposed to. If you forget to tell your employer you moved 2 years ago and you still show that you live in Massachusetts instead of Rhode Island with your folks, that's going to be a red flag, and people have committed fraud, and it's a trigger to dig deeper. Everything you're supplying is verified through some sort of search engine, and I'm the first one that has the conversation with you, so everyone else who sees your documentation, like my processor, has no idea what we spoke about. All they have is this stack of paper, and if we don't document your situation well, they're going to ask more questions. So sometimes there's even more questions during the process, or something will pop up that you left out. And I ask everyone after every application we do, is there anything you left out that may not be reporting on your credit report? Or are there any addresses that you left out that may not be reporting on your credit report, as well as all these documentations, as well as anything credit history that might not be there. So we're going to decipher your credit report, and we're going to go over your credit report, and then I'm going to say, is there anything missing? Have you signed up for any new credit, especially student loans? If there's a lot of student loans on there, and you see that someone just pulled your credit, it's called an inquiry, and it's not reporting on credit yet, if the loan officer forgets to ask, or you forget to say anything, or if you're just rushing, that's when there's problems. And it could hurt your closing eventually, could disqualify you in the long run.
Yes.
We will find out. Everybody does a search for, as far as your tax returns. We go to the IRS. We get your tax transcripts to make sure you provided all your schedules on your federal tax returns. We don't require state taxes. And these are this is every lender. We cannot get around these laws. Thanks to, again, 9/11, the Patriot Act came out in 2001. There's a subchapter called the Customer Identification Program, where we have to do a reverse search. We have to check 2 different websites that if you're on the terrorist group. And then there's also the title company after the process that they're going to do a MERS report. It's anyone who has It's a mortgage registry.
Okay, I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, it's a great program where if you say, no, I don't own any other properties, I've never owned any properties, we're going to find out if you're on anyone's title that way. It's a registry for just mortgage banking and title companies. We can all use it, and we go there. And if we say, hey, you have 2 properties here that you're still an owner in Florida, why didn't you mention that? I don't even see you're filling out a Schedule E. You know, I received cash from that, so I don't write it off. Well, that's fraud. You know what I mean? And you're supposed to fill out a suspicious activity report if that's the case.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you actually have to send it to the IRS, and the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So there's a lot involved. And now after the title company, the processor, there's the underwriter. Again, the underwriter just has a stack of electronic papers that they have a checklist to go through. If something doesn't add up, or if there's any red flags like missing information, and that we have all the research in by now, it's going to require more documentation. Something you left out, something maybe I forgot to ask you. You never know. It does happen. It happens at least twice per month.
The time.
It
happens
out of 10 loans,
time.
two are always. Someone just didn't think it was important. Why do you need this? What does this have to do with a mortgage? Why does my mother have to show where she got the money to give me the gift for the down payment? That doesn't make any sense. Well, terrorists were buying homes and putting cells up. They still are.
Yeah.
There's something called a straw buyer where with this was still going on, which is scary because there's teams out there that hunt down people that have excellent credit, good income history that will pay them big money to put a loan in their name. And it looks like they're buying it as their primary residence to either, commit fraud, obviously, but to get around the whole investment thing. Investment property, you're bringing 25% or more to the table.
All day.
Plus, anyone who has hard money lenders, if you have a hard money loan, hard money lenders, commercial loans, they don't report to the credit agencies. So they can leave that fact out. That, I don't have a mortgage. I own that outright. But then we'll do a title report on that. It's just a title rundown. Doesn't cost much. And however many properties you say you own, if there's no mortgage, we do that. And if it says there's a $400,000 lien on there, we're going to want to see what the monthly payment is. And a lot of people try to get away with something where mortgage companies are very good, thanks to all of these regulations in place, of digging really deep. So for your loan officer, please tell him everything, even if it doesn't make sense, or even if you think, should I tell him? Just tell your loan officer everything, especially new credit that you may have applied for that's not showing up on your credit.
The biggest thing that I see when transactions fall through is that a buyer misled or mistakenly gave the wrong amount of income up front. Now, I know with you, what I like about you is you guys do a lot of that screening up front.
We have to. Yeah.
I know, but there's lenders that do not, and not all of it, and they're not thorough enough. I've seen transactions fall apart a couple days before the transaction was ready to close because they didn't do their homework.
We have a loan right now that the woman was shopping around for rates and didn't supply anybody with paperwork. And I'm like, that's fine. I just can't give you a pre-approval until I verify this stuff. Yeah. And she got a pre-approval from somebody else. Yeah. And she was writing off $30,000 worth of student loans, and that we have to, it's an unreimbursed expense that we have to minus out of what, you make $60,000 a year, we minus out $30,000. We're really only making $30,000 we can use. Yeah. So that's a big factor that can drop your more, we have to add a cosign or something like that, but it does happen. They don't think they don't know how we calculate the income, so they just say, I make this, and it looks great on paper, but when you dig deeper, it can ruin the deal for you.